I'm Trista Engel, CEO of Paragon Legal, and welcome to GC Sidebar, a short and sharp conversation series with today's most forward-thinking general counsel. In just 4 questions, we cover the legal industry, leadership, careers, and a little fun. Today, I'm joined by Heather Stevenson, general counsel at Red Cell Partners, a venture capital firm and incubator for technology-led companies in healthcare, cybersecurity, and national security. Heather began her legal career at Sullivan Cromwell, then took an entrepreneurial detour to launch Thirst Juice Co., a plant-based juice and smoothie business in Boston. She returned to law in-house at Boston Globe Media, and she stepped into her first general counsel role at Red Cell Partners in 2022. From complex litigation to green juice to media to startups, Heather's career path is anything but ordinary. Heather, I'm excited you're here. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's jump in. What is the biggest challenge facing GCs and in-house legal teams today?
So I think that doing more with less has always been among the biggest challenges facing legal teams. But what's new to that challenge is that we have so many tools available and options for doing more that it can become overwhelming and almost be a distraction to actually making more impact. Whereas in the past, it was just a question of who do you leverage for what? Now it's also what tools, what AI are you using in order to deliver more impact? And how do you make sure that the tools you're choosing aren't just shiny objects? They're also, letting you get more done.
That's a really great take. It's not just do more with less is harder because there's more complexity in the legal work and in the company, but it's also because there are more options for solutions, and that makes taking the next step a challenge.
Exactly.
What's the most valuable lesson you've learned as a GC?
The most valuable lesson I've learned as a GC is that building trust with your internal team and particularly leadership is your number one priority. And the reason for that is that if you don't have their trust, your excellent legal advice is going to go ignored. And I've seen this happen multiple times where a lawyer gave great advice, but the people they were giving it to didn't necessarily have full confidence in them or trust them, and it went ignored. In contrast, if you have that full trust, your good legal advice gets listened to, and you can also recover from the tougher situations, like if you have to tell someone that they can't do something that they want to do or can't do it the way they are hoping to.
That's a great point. The soft skills matter just as much as the substantive skills. What's one career moment that changed your trajectory?
So in 2014, I had a big career moment that changed my trajectory because I decided to leave big law in New York and move home to Boston and start a juice bar. And it obviously changed my career trajectory in ways that I wasn't anticipating. I thought that it was changing my trajectory by switching from lawyer to entrepreneur. And what actually happened is that it turned out to be a really rewarding detour that put me on the path to being an in-house counsel and ultimately GC who had that business experience and was able to use it to be a more impactful in-house lawyer than I ever would have been had I only had big law training as a litigator, which was valuable, but very different than the experience I got at first.
That resonates with me a lot, both in that my career path has also been a little bit non-traditional, but also just to hear that those experiences, both for yourself and for your legal skills, has made a big difference, sort of stepping off that path. What's something people watching might not know about you?
Something people might not know about me is that I am a distance runner and a fairly, not necessarily the fastest, but competitive one. I've run 15 marathons. I'm currently training for my second ultra. And it's something that I did, over time for health and mental health, frankly. And in more recent years has been something that I do to have big goals that are totally unrelated to my work. So, qualifying for Boston, running rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon, doing things that don't make me a better lawyer at all, but that I can shoot high, aim high, and feel really accomplished when I make them, and sometimes even when I don't. At least I tried.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, congrats on all of those accomplishments and good luck with the training. I'm sure that is fun and hard and time consuming and all the things.
It's all the things. Thank you.
All right, a bonus question. Who is your favorite fictional lawyer?
All right, so I know there are a ton of really popular fictional lawyers who I maybe should say to sound fancy, but I love Elle Woods. She is my favorite because she's a perfect example of two things I really love. One, not being what one appears. She comes across as a little bit ditzy, maybe that not that smart, and is incredibly impactful. And then two, she leans in hard to who she is and is still effective, at least as a law student, presumably as a lawyer. And I think we could all use more examples of lawyers who don't look like what lawyers historically were, quote unquote, supposed to look like. And so I love her as an odd type of role model.
I love that. The authenticity piece makes a big difference. And she's fun to watch.
Very fun to watch.
Well, that was really fun. Heather, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your thoughtful insights.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been great.
All right, that's a wrap on today's episode of GC Sidebar. Catch more great conversations on our website at paragonlegal.com. Thanks for tuning in.